Learn how to crochet sun coasters and make this delightful Sun Coaster Crochet Pattern. These sun crochet coasters will brighten up your home decor or brighten up someone's day when you make them as a wonderful gift.
Hello from Halifax. I'm Jo with Jo the World Creations.
We are going to get right to the video tutorial. All of the details and the step-by-step written instructions are all included in the written pattern, which is available for free on my website, and there's a link to that free pattern in the description below this video. For this pattern, you can use any size 4 yarn. You'll need approximately 14 yards of yellow yarn and 17 yards of blue yarn. For a hook size, use an H hook. We're going to start with yellow yarn. The first thing we're going to do is make a magic circle. This is how I make a magic circle. I have another video tutorial showing how to do this step by step slowly that I'll link to in the description below this video. Still with our yellow yarn, we're going to begin round 1. We're going to start by making 2 chains. 1, 2. Now we're going to make 20 triple crochet stitches into this magic circle. Some people call them treble crochet stitches. I call them triple, and here's how to do one. Yarn over twice, insert your hook into the magic circle, yarn over and pull up a loop. We have 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. 3 loops left. Yarn over and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. 2 loops left. Yarn over and pull the yarn through the 2 remaining loops. And there's our first triple crochet stitch. We're going to make a total of 20 triple crochet stitches into this magic circle. There's my second of 20. Let's do one more together. There's my third of 20. You go ahead and make 20 triple crochet stitches into this magic circle and come back to the video. I've just finished making 20 triple crochet stitches. The chain 2 that we made at the start of the round does not count as a stitch. We're only counting our triple crochet stitches. Let's count them really quickly. Here's our first 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Now we're going to pull the end of the magic circle tight to close. Give that a good pull. To finish the round, we're going to slip stitch into the top of the very first triple crochet stitch made in the round. Working into the top of this first triple crochet, slip stitch to join. One note is that this joining slip stitch does not count as a stitch, and except for at the very end of the pattern, it never gets worked into. We're going to continue using yellow yarn and begin round 2. To start, we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. We are not going to turn. We're going to continue working in the same direction. We're going to start by working into the very first stitch. This is the stitch we just slip stitched into, and it's the stitch attached to these 2 chains. Into this first stitch, we're going to double crochet. There's our double crochet stitch. We're now going to work into the very next stitch. Into this stitch, we are going to make a double crochet 2 together in the same stitch. So we're only going to be working into this next stitch. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops, 2 loops left on our hook. Now we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, 4 loops on our hook. Now we're going to yarn over and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops, 3 loops left on our hook, yarn over and pull a yarn through the 3 remaining loops. This completed double crochet 2 together counts as 1 stitch. Now we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Now we're going to begin the repeat portion of the round, which is what we're going to be repeating all the way around. The first step in our repeat is to work into the next stitch and make a double crochet 2 together in the same stitch. There's my double crochet 2 together in the same stitch. The next part of our repeat is to work into the next stitch and make a double crochet 2 together in the next stitch. Working in the next stitch, double crochet 2 together. And the final part of our repeat is to chain 2. 1, 2. These are the steps we're going to be repeating all the way around. Let's do it one more time together. In the next stitch, double crochet 2 together. In the next stitch, double crochet 2 together. And the final step is to chain 2. You go ahead and repeat these steps all the way around. As you're nearing the end of the round, come back to the video and we'll finish the round together. I'm almost finished repeating those steps all the way around. We're still completing this repeat all the way around. Nothing special happens at the end of the round, but I thought we could finish the round together. Here's the last time I was repeating these instructions, which ended with a chain 2, and now I have 2 stitches left to work into. Just a reminder that this joining slip stitch never gets worked into until the very end of the pattern. I'm still completing the exact same steps. In the next stitch, double crochet 2 together in the same stitch. And in the last stitch, double crochet 2 together in the same stitch. And to finish those instructions, we need to chain 2. 1, 2. Before joining, let's quickly count our stitches, and a reminder that chains never count as stitches. Our first stitch in the round is this double crochet stitch, and then we should have a total of 19 double crochet 2 togethers. To join, we're going to work into the top of the first double crochet stitch made in the round. Working in the top of this first stitch, slip stitch to join. One quick note before we move on to the next round. Every time we chain 2 in between double crochet 2 togethers, we created a chain 2 space. This is the space under the 2 chains and between these double crochet 2 together stitches, and this creates a chain 2 space. And we're going to be working into these chain 2 spaces in the next round. The starting chain 2 does not create a chain 2 space. At the end of round 2, we have a total of 10 chain 2 spaces. Let's quickly count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the final space is between our last double crochet 2 together and the starting chain 2. Here's our last chain 2 space, our 10th. And we're going to be leaving our yellow yarn exactly how it is. We're not going to fasten off. We're going to remove our hook, and I recommend pulling out a nice large loop just to ensure that this doesn't come undone. We're going to leave yellow exactly how it is. Now we're going to get our blue yarn out. In all the pictures, I've used this darker blue when making my coasters, but for this video tutorial, I'm going to use this lighter blue so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. For round 3, we're not going to turn. We're going to continue working in the same direction. We're going to attach our blue yarn to the first chain 2 space. This is a space right after our first double crochet 2 together under these 2 chains and before the next double crochet 2 together. Right in here is where we'll attach the blue yarn. Insert your hook into this first chain 2 space. Place your blue yarn on your hook and pull it through the space. It'll be quite loose as we start to work with this blue yarn, but you can fix that when you go to weave in the ends at the end of the pattern. With our blue yarn, we are now going to chain 2. 1, 2. We're going to keep working into this first chain 2 space. Into this space, we're going to make 3 double crochet stitches, all in the same space. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 1. We're now going to begin the repeat portion of the round, which is what we'll be repeating all the way around. The first step in our repeat is to work into the next chain 2 space, and into this space make 3 double crochet stitches. Working into the next chain 2 space, make 3 double crochet stitches, all in the same space. There's 2 and 3. And the last part of the repeat is to chain 1. These are the steps we're going to be repeating all the way around. Let's do it one more time together. Working in the next chain 2 space, make 3 double crochet stitches. There's 1, 2, and 3. And the final step in our repeat is to chain 1. You go ahead and repeat these steps all the way around. As you're nearing the end of the round, come back to the video and we'll finish the round together. It is absolutely okay if your work curls. Mine definitely is. It looks misshaped right now, and don't worry, it will lay flat at the end of the pattern. I've been repeating those steps all the way around. I have worked into 9 chain 2 spaces so far. I have 1 last chain 2 space to work into. Nothing special happens, but let's complete those steps together. Working in the last chain 2 space, if you find this yellow loop is in your way, just push it forward in front of you. We're going to be doing that in the next step anyway, so you can get a head start on that. Just push it out of your way and maybe hold it with your thumb here. And we're going to make 3 double crochet stitches in this last chain 2 space. Two and 3. And the last step is to chain 1. We've now made 3 double crochet stitches in the 10 chain 2 spaces. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, and we should have a total of 30 double crochet stitches. Before we join the round, we need to ensure that our loop of yellow and the yellow yarn that's attached to your skein, these both need to be in front of the blue yarn before we join the blue yarn. So we're going to take our loop of yellow and push it towards us, and then find the strand of yellow, and it might be a little tangled. Here's my strand of yellow that's attached to my skein, and I'm going to bring this yarn towards me so that is completely in front of the blue yarn before we join. Here's my strand and here's my loop. Both are in front of the blue before we join the blue yarn. To join the blue yarn, we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet stitch made in the round. Again, just make sure your yellow yarn is in front. And now with our blue, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to join. Now we're going to begin round 4. Once again, we are not going to turn. We're going to keep working in the same direction. We are going to leave the blue yarn as is, which means we're going to remove our hook, and I like to leave a nice big loop so it doesn't come undone, and just leave it exactly how it is. We are not going to fasten off. We're now going to pick up our yellow yarn, which simply means insert your hook into the loop of yellow and then pull everything tight. Not too tight, I just mean tight so that you can work with it. Now we're ready to start round 4. First thing we're going to do is with our yellow yarn, chain 2. 1, 2. For this round, we're only going to be working into the tops of yellow stitches. We are going to be ignoring all the blue. In fact, we're just going to push it away from us and out of our way, pretend it's not there, and go right back to working into the tops of yellow stitches. We are going to be skipping the first yellow stitch. This is the stitch that's attached to these 2 chains. We are not going to work into the first stitch. We are going to work into the next stitch, the next yellow stitch. And into this next yellow stitch, we're going to double crochet. You can see I'm just using my finger here to push that blue away. We're not working into the blue, only working into the top of this next yellow stitch, making a double crochet stitch. There's my double crochet stitch. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're now going to begin the repeat portion of the round, which is what we're going to be repeating all the way around. The first step in our repeat is to double crochet the next 2 stitches together. Here's the first stitch that we're going to be working into. It is slightly covered by the blue, so feel free just to use your hands to move the blue over. We're not going to be working around the blue, so you can actually push the blue completely away, and we're only going to be working into these yellow stitches. The instructions say over the next 2 yellow stitches, double crochet 2 together. That means we're going to be working into the first of 2 yellow stitches and then the second of 2 yellow stitches. Here's what we're going to do. Yarn over, insert your hook into the first of 2 yellow stitches, yarn over and pull through a loop. 3 loops on your hook. Now the chain, as you can see, is coming over my hook a little bit, so I just push that to the back so I can see my 3 loops. Now yarn over and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. 2 loops left on your hook. Yarn over and insert your hook into the second of 2 yellow stitches. Yarn over and pull up a loop. 4 loops on your hook. yarn over and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops, 3 loops left on your hook, yarn over and pull the yarn through the 3 remaining loops. This completed double crochet 2 together counts as 1 stitch. As you can see here, we've completely ignored the blue. The blue is just hanging out in the back of our work. We're not doing anything with the blue at this point. And we won't be doing anything with it for this entire round. The last part of the repeat is to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the steps we're going to be repeating all the way around. Let's do it again together. We're going to be working into the next 2 yellow stitches. Once again, the blue is covering the first stitch a little bit, so I'm just going to use my fingers to push it over and then push the blue out of the way completely. And over the next 2 stitches, double crochet 2 together. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the first of 2 yellow stitches, yarn over and pull up a loop. Once again, my chain is coming over my hook, so I'm just going to push that back so I can see my 3 loops. Yarn over, pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. Now yarn over again and insert my hook into the next yellow stitch, the second of 2 yellow stitches. And now complete my double crochet 2 together. And the last step of the repeat is to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. One more time together. Over the next 2 yellow stitches, double crochet 2 together. And then chain 5. You go ahead and repeat these steps all the way around, and as you're nearing the end of the round, come back to the video. I'm almost finished repeating those steps all the way around. I need to complete the repeat one last time. Nothing special happens. I'm still following the same steps. Over the next 2 yellow stitches, double crochet 2 together. And chain 5. We should now have a total of 10 stitches. This double crochet is our first stitch, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 double crochet 2 together stitches for a total of 10. To join the round, we're going to slip stitch into the top of this first double crochet stitch that we made in the round. Working into the top of this first stitch, slip stitch to join. Now we're going to fasten off our yellow yarn. So we can remove our hook. We're going to cut the yarn that's attached to our skein and pull the end through the loop that was on our hook and pull tight. Now we're going to begin round 5. We are not going to turn. We're going to keep working in the same direction. We're going to pick up our blue yarn. So let's find it. It's along the back here. There's our loop. Here's this strand of yellow that I just cut. This can be anywhere. Don't worry about where that strand is. Find your loop of blue yarn. Insert your hook into this loop and pull everything tight. Not too tight, just so that you can work with it now. With our blue yarn, we're going to chain 1. I've just removed the background so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. For this round, we are only going to be working into the tops of double crochet stitches made with blue in round 3. However, we are going to be working around these yellow chain 5s that we made in the previous round. We're going to start by working into the first stitch, the one that's attached to the chain, and into this stitch we're going to make 2 single crochet stitches. The trick with this round is that when we insert our hook, we want our hook to go under these 5 chains and into the stitch that we're working in, so that our stitches are going to cover these 5 chains made with yellow. So we're going to work into this first stitch, but what we need to do first is take our hook and go under the chain 5 and then into the first stitch. Once again, I'm going to be inserting my hook into this first stitch, but first I'm putting my hook under the chain 5. So I'm putting my hook under the chain 5 and then into this first stitch, and now I'm ready to single crochet. My first single crochet stitch here is now covering or is around the chain 5 made with yellow in the previous round. I mentioned we're going to make 2 single crochet stitches into this first stitch. So working into the same stitch where we just made our first single crochet stitch, let's make another single crochet stitch. We now have 2 single crochet stitches made in the first stitch. We're now going to begin the repeat portion of the round. We are going to be working into the next stitch. This is the next double crochet stitch made with blue in round 3, into this stitch and working around the yellow chain 5. So once again, we're going to insert a hook under the chain 5 and into the next stitch and make 2 single crochet stitches into this next stitch. Insert your hook under the chain 5. Here's my next stitch. And now single crochet. There's my first. I need to make a second in the same stitch. And this is all we're going to be doing all the way around. We're going to be working into the next stitch, which in this case right here is the 3rd double crochet stitch made in round 3. We're working into the top of that, working around the yellow chain 5 and make 2 single crochet stitches. We are never going to be working into the tops of any yellow stitches. So right here is a double crochet 2 together. We're not working into that. And we're not working in to the chain 1 that connected these 3 double crochet stitches. So we're not working into that or the yellow. We're going to go right into working into the tops of the next 3 double crochet stitches. And in each of these stitches, make 2 single crochet stitches. But the trick is to work around the yellow chain 5 to cover that chain 5 made with yellow. Working into the next stitch, insert your hook under the chain 5 and make 2 single crochet stitches. Working into the next stitch, under the chain 5, make 2 single crochet stitches. And you're going to be repeating this all the way around. Once again, don't work into any yellow stitches or into a blue chain 1, only working into the tops of double crochet stitches and in each make 2 single crochet stitches around the yellow chain 5. You go ahead and repeat these steps all the way around. As you're nearing the end of the round, come back to the video. I'm almost finished repeating those steps all the way around. I have 3 more stitches to work into. Nothing special happens, but let's finish the round together. Working in the 3rd last stitch, 2 single crochet stitches. Working in the 2nd last stitch, 2. And working in the last stitch, make 2 single crochet stitches. Your blue yarn should now be covering all your yellow chain 5s. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 60 single crochet stitches. To finish the round, we're going to work into the top of the first single crochet stitch made in this round. Working into the top of this first single crochet stitch, slip stitch to join. Still with blue yarn, we're going to begin round 6, which is our final round. For this round, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. The wrong side, or the back of our coaster, is now facing us. For this round, we are going to work into the joining slip stitch. This is the stitch right here that's attached to the chain. Into this joining slip stitch, we are going to do 2 things. The first thing we're going to do is slip stitch. Working into this joining slip stitch, slip stitch. Still working into this joining slip stitch, we're now going to make a half double crochet stitch. Now we're going to begin the repeat portion of the round, which begins with, in the next stitch, we're going to slip stitch. And the final part of our repeat is in the next stitch, we are going to half double crochet. These are the steps we're going to be repeating all the way around. In the next stitch, slip stitch. In the next stitch, half double crochet. In the next stitch, slip stitch. And in the next stitch, half double crochet. You go ahead and repeat these steps all the way around. I'm almost finished working all the way around. I have 2 stitches left to work into. Nothing special happens. I'm completing the exact same steps. In the 2nd last stitch, slip stitch. And in the last stitch, half double crochet. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 62 stitches. Half of those are slip stitches and half of those are half double crochet stitches. To join the round, we are going to slip stitch into the first slip stitch made in the round. Working into the first stitch made in the round, which was a slip stitch, we're going to slip stitch. All that's left to do is to fasten off our blue yarn. Cut the yarn that's attached to your skein, pull the end through the loop that was on your hook, and pull tight. And now with your yarn needle, weave in all your loose ends. And now you have a new Sun Coaster. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoy making these Sun Coasters. If there is anything at all I can do to help, please let me know. If you enjoyed this tutorial, I'd be delighted if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you again and have a wonderful day.